In the studio, we have Fiona and Rama. Very good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Now, as I say, it's a very serious subject and a subject that should be talked about because it's staggering, the figures and what women go through in this procedure. So let's just talk a bit about what you do as far as female genital mutilation is concerned. What do you do?
Okay. As I say, my name is Fiona and I'm from Straightforward. I'm just going to read a little bit about what we do and how we hope to change things within our communities and other organisations. We are a dedicated women group set up to improve women health and well-being. We are Straightforward community organisation and our project is run by volunteers. We work in a partnership with the Home Office, Middlesbrough and Stockton local authorities and Cleveland Police. We organise and deliver events and workshops throughout the Tees Valley. Our aim is to help re-educate and inform our community members about the risks, impact and effect of the issues and cultural practice of female genital mutilation. We are aware that the silence and not enough prosecution on the practice of FGM is one of the most political area of women health. FGM is an unnecessary and illegal practice that causes significant physical, mental and emotional harm. This practice bears a heavy punishment within the British law, up to 14 years of imprisonment, including taking a person abroad for the operation. No one has been prosecuted for this so far. The only solution is to educate the people to stop the practice, especially women, men, religious and community leaders. Several women and young girls are petrified with the horror of genital mutilation. It is hard for them to get on with their lives after mentally and physically traumatized. The project aims to empower participants, especially women, so that they will be in a better position to combat this terrible and illegal practice. The project will encourage victims and families to have the confidence to face their fears and seek professional help. We also work closely with those who have suffered the cruel treatment of FGM to help them to develop self-esteem, confidence, and integrate back into the society. They will become more active and proactive in tackling the issues of FGM. The project will increase community strength in fighting together this atrocity for the good of all. The project also highlights the existence of the practice to local charities and health professionals. Thank you.
Now, you say that you're from Straightforward. Where are you based?
We are actually based in Middlesbrough. 49 Grange Road.
Right.
That's in the John Paul Centre.
Okay. Now, let's just touch on the illegality of it in the UK, but it still goes on.
It still goes on, yes, although it is illegal.
And the fact is that not only in the UK, but around the world, it's a widespread practice.
Absolutely. It is widespread.
Yeah.
And, a lot of it sometimes is underground. So it's just trying to, as you say, educate people, not just in our community, but around the world about this.
So it is a case of, even though it is happening in the UK, it is hidden.
It is, yes, it is hidden.
Right, let's go to the questions.
Okay. Yes.
I told you that I might actually deviate slightly. I do apologise.
Fine.
So, firstly, what is female genital mutilation?
Hello, good morning. My name is Rama from Straightforward. According to the World Health Organization, FGM is defined as the practice which involves the removal of the external genitals and or damage to the female genital organs, whether for cultural and non-beneficial reasons. FGM could also be called female circumcision. Some people call it female circumcision, and it happens for non-medical reasons mainly. Yeah, that's FGM.
And why is female genital mutilation practiced? Why is that?
Depending on different cultures and background, some people practice it. They say it for religious purposes, and in some communities they would say, as a woman, if you don't go through FGM, you're not pure, you're not clean. Like where I am from, some people in certain tribes, they call you different names if you did not go through FGM. Is their culture, and a very, very strong culture for that matter. They believe in it and they feel it has to happen to a girl child, no matter what, yeah.
And what are the causes?
I don't think they have like a genuine cause to do it. They just believe that their ancestors have been doing it and they should do it. Like, for instance, I'm from the Fula tribe and I believe that my people should do it. So that's the belief they have. I am from this tribe and I believe my people should do it, so they will do it. And some other also cultures, they just believe that their ancestors have been doing it and they have to keep on doing it. Some also lately do it to earn something, like they do it as a business. They encourage it to happen in the community so that the people doing it can have something to take back home, like some money, because when they do it, you have to give them rice or give them some money for just a token for them to be happy.
Because looking at the culture aspect of female genital mutilation, it's sort of a culture in the sense it's being passed down by the generations. Right, so how is it carried out? And the reason I ask this is because I'm just looking at the instruments that are used for this practice, and it's truly awful. It really is. I mean, we're talking special knives, scissors, scalpels, pieces of glass and razor blades. Terrible.
Yes, they use different tools or materials when they are doing it. Some use razor blades, some have their own special materials they use that are not sterilized for that matter, which can cause a lot of harms to the girl child. They have different things. You can see like a group of children organized to be done only using one blade for all the kids, and after that it's not sterilized or anything. It is parked there for the next group to come in, and then you can imagine what is going to happen there, all these STIs here and there. So it's very risky. The tools also are very, very harmful.
So these tools, they're not sterilized, so they can cause longer complications in the long run through STIs, HIV as well can be a complication of this practice. It's truly awful.
Yeah, it is awful.
Yeah. So let's just go on to the risks that are involved. What are the risks that are involved through this sort of thing that happens?
There are a lot of risks involved. As I said before, the practice has no health benefits, and then when you go through it, it's a lifetime thing. Yeah, it can cause emotional imbalance, stress. Yeah, you think of it. I have a friend who still talk about it, who still feels that even like she's married, but she don't know anything, like she don't have any feelings when she goes to bed with the husband. So it's like she's just a bare woman like that. And some of my own sister also went through it, and she's been complaining, the pains here and there. She's always having infections. So it's a lifetime thing. It's not like it will happen today and when you're okay, like when you recover. Though you are not taken to hospital after, like you are bleeding and everything, they use their own things to heal. They use salt and water. Some have their own herbs that they use just to heal the wound. They don't take you to the hospital. But after that, the wound will be healed, but it will be in your mind. It will emotionally, it is forever with you as a woman. In labor also, it affects women in labor.
Sometimes you have to be reopened to obviously have the child, and then they obviously sew you back up again. So it is quite traumatizing.
That's it. It's emotionally, it's physically scarring, and the fact is that the people who do this procedure, they're not qualified.
Not at all.
No,
they're just probably grandmoms or the older generation that seems to have this whatever it is of actually doing this type of incisions and cuts and things. So.
And when it is done immediately, in some cultures, they will leave you like that. They will leave you open, but some they will like sew the vagina again. When it is sewn, they will just leave a small part where the urine and the menstrual period will come through. So until when you are married. So when you are married, like for instance, you are with your aunties and all those people. They forgot that during FGM you were like stitched again to close that gap, all for the name of keeping virginity until you get married. So you'll be taken to your husband, but the husband cannot pass through because of the small hole that is left there. So when they realize that they will have to take you back home and then reopen it, it's like another FGM going on again on the night of the wedding. So when they reopen it, the same night you have to go to your husband. If not, it will close again, they believe. So you have to go and sleep with your husband with that pain so that it will just open up. So it's something very, very, it's
very
bad.
traumatizing.
It is.
Clive Hort on the radio, and currently at the moment we're talking female genital mutilation with Fiona and Rama. We fixed the mic, so let's carry on with the questions. So are there any long-term side effects? We talked about the risks, but what are the long-term side effects of FGM?
The long-term risks increase childbirth complications, basically needing some sort of surgery at a later stage, as we talked about, sort of reopening and closing after childbirth. Reoccurrence of bladder, urinating, tract infection constantly, cysts and infertility. Those are the other risks that are also involved. And then you've got the immediate risk, which is the severe pain, which we talked about, hemorrhaging, bacteria infection, again, your urine retention, opening sores in the genital region, injuries obviously near to the genital tissues, which can cause a lot of problems. Acute and chronic pelvic infection, death, which is obviously on having FGM, that can cause instantaneous death from the child, the shock of obviously using those type of instruments which are not clean, etc. And as we've said, these women that are doing it are not qualified, so they don't really know what they're doing. It's the day-to-day thing. So as they're going along, they're learning themselves as to maybe how to do it. But as I said, instruments are not clean. So the areas. So these are going to affect children of young. It doesn't matter whether you're young or old, older women, it's still a shock to the system.
Yeah.
So, we really are very...
and of course, the fact is that this procedure happens at a very young age as well.
Yes, starting from about...
it doesn't have a specific age because... Some people will say starting from 2, but when my little one was born, could you imagine, just after 1 week, they were starting to ask my husband, when are they going to do it to her? So thank God that she escaped from that. Yes, she didn't have it done, but they're still asking about it. So it doesn't have an age, of specific age, depending on the culture and the background that you are from.
Yeah, and of course the fact is that because the procedure is illegal in the UK, you're actually sort of transported to your own country for this.
Yes.
It's terrible.
Usually it's in the period of school holidays, summertime, when it's a longer period.
Yeah.
It's looking out for these, families that are maybe taking children abroad to have this done. So yes,
and of course, this procedure, once it's done, it can cause life-threatening complications. I mean, we're talking the fact that when this procedure is actually done and finished, that the survival rate can be quite low.
It can be quite low, yes, but at the same time, we do have a lot of children that survive it. They survive it, but it's the complications that they do experience, that they go through, the mental and the physical trauma of the whole thing. I mean, it's, a child growing up, you should be playing and things like that as you go through your childhood. But for them, sometimes it's not the case. It's this concern of what's going on down there and what's happening, the pain, the infections that it can carry out throughout their lifetime and never goes away. I mean, if you think of something that's constantly there, it's like you're having flashbacks all the time of this happening to you, what happened to you, as a child.
Yeah.
So it's
Now,
devastating.
We talked about it happening in the UK. How bad a problem is it in the UK?
It is quite bad. As I say, some of it is underground.
Yeah.
A lot of our women sometimes are coming from overseas, are here, but they're fleeing this situation, but at the same time, even though they flee the situation, they still have families who are constantly talking to them and constantly expecting them to have their little ones, their child, their girl child, go through this. So it's that you feel it, because as we talk about, it's a culture, and you feel obligated to continue this culture, and if you don't, you are actually cut off from your families, and they don't want to have anything to do with you because you're not clean. It's a lot of things, so you're pressurized into feeling that you've got to also put your own child through this, even though you're in this country. And they find ways of saying, well, we can take you here, or come over for the holiday period and we can have it done, and she'll be back with here once school is. It gives you that time for healing, well, within that school period, which is the summertime, is the longest time that the child can sort of heal and before she goes back to school, and maybe not necessarily go back straight away. They'll find an excuse for the reason why the child cannot be back in school.
Most of them heal even in the 2 weeks.
2
They
weeks.
can easily heal depending on the herbs they are using on them. So sometimes they want even to arrange for you to bring. If you don't want to take the child, you can just arrange for someone to come and then do it here on the ground. But most of the time they would prefer you taking the kids back home so that they can do everything attached to it, their cultures, because to them it's a big celebration they do, like when they are taking the kids, and after when the kids should come out, maybe after the 2-3 weeks, they have their big event that they organize, call people to come, drums, cook food, just to celebrate it. You're celebrating something that will affect the child for the rest of her life.
Well, exactly, because you said about the healing process, but it's not really healing in the sense that they will be emotionally scarred, perhaps for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, you don't heal from that. And as you say, it is, it affects you for the rest of your lives. It's that flashback. I mean, it's like you have an accident and you think, oh my God, if this had happened, and you keep seeing that in front of you, and it must be that experience of reliving that situation. I really cannot imagine enough, how they must feel to go through this sort of thing.
And the pain, of course, the pain must be incredible. Because, I mean, when this practice is actually done on a woman, there's no anaesthetic, nothing.
No, nothing. They're not given anything to say numb the area. You go to the dentist, you get an injection to numb the area. There is nothing to numb this area. they just hold them down. Women hold them down, and then they go for the incision. They take away the necessary parts.
Now, we talk about social pressures on this FGM, female genital mutilation. Now, here's a scenario for you guys. The fact is that somebody is being pressurized to go through this operation or this situation here in the UK. They come to your offices asking for advice and help. What do you do to try and stop it from happening?
Well, we obviously have to listen to the parent or parents as to what the situation is. And then obviously we can look at how we can actually help them. It's whether we need to refer them on to whether it's a medical consultation or any other organisation that might be able to help them. It's the schools also to obviously we need to speak to as well. So we try and look at everything possible. Health professionals, nurses, etc., to see how we can actually help them to stop this procedure, because obviously they're worried. And then at the same time, they also maybe have family behind them that is encouraging them to do this, and they don't know what to do. So they're in between a situation. They don't want to do it, but at the same time, they want to make their families happy and be proud, or if that's the word to use, of that, yes, they're going to let their child go through this. And also at the same time, they're confused because obviously they've got the schools, they've got other health authorities, etc., that they're concerned about, and they know that this is wrong. They're not supposed to do it. They cannot do it here. So, of course, with the total confusion, we do try and speak with them and get some counselling as well at the same time for the mother, the father. Obviously, the child hasn't got to that stage, but then it causes conflict within that family. Yeah. So, we try our best to help and refer them on.
And, of course, it's all about information, because this is a subject which isn't talked about enough. And it's quite easy just to, sweep it under the carpet, pretend it's not there. But it is. It's all about getting the information out, as you say, to schools, to parents. It's all about the big word information.
Yeah. And it's also getting it out there to the mainstream public, because obviously you have, not necessarily from the same country, but you might be mix in with someone else, maybe from a white community, an African, getting together, meeting and want to be together, and then you've got the culture of one and the culture of another, and they have to be aware of what the expectation is, so they need to also know about FGM, not just within the African culture, but also within the mainstream, so that they know what to expect, and also to realise and not be pressurised into doing something that they don't want to do.
Yeah.
Or something that they don't understand.
So, you have your offices at 49 Grange Road, Middlesbrough.
Yes.
Do you have a website?
Not yet. We'll be working on that, because we've just got our For All funding.
Right. Okay.
So we'll be working on our website, and hopefully we can get that up and running fairly quickly.
I found out actually on this leaflet, we do have straightforward421@yahoo.co.uk.
That's correct. That's our
So there's
email.
Another means of getting in contact with you.
Yes.
And also you have two phone numbers I've got here. Florbella Inacio,
yes.
sorry. 07949 592 688, and Fiona Watson on 07462 799 555. That's you.
Yes. But what we'd like to do is we would like to leave off Florbella Inacio for the time being.
Right, I do apologise.
And give Rama's information.
Course.
So Rama, if you'd like to say yours.
07543 453-959.
And
Lovely.
your email?
rbjsaidy@gmail.com. But they can just send
So
the email, so it's straightforward, email.
Yeah.
Okay, and of course all the information that you've heard today will be on our website, which is www.ignitionradio.co.uk. Fiona Rama, thank you ever so much for coming into Ignition Radio and talking about what is a subject that needs to be talked about.
Definitely. Thank you very much for having us.
Lovely,
and
lovely.
I hope you invite us again.
The doors are always open to you guys anytime.
Thank
you
you.
once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.